Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anselmo Academy of Music and the Arts, and we are live on Facebook. We are sending you greetings from New York City. We have created a special platform in our broadcast series called Teacher and Student. And today we are featuring Professor Gila Goldstein and two of her students, In-Fang Lee and Ben Backman. Warm welcome to you guys. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, we are honored to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. We will feature each guest with a performance videos, picture gallery, and a conversation in just a moment. But first, a few words about Anselmo Academy of Music and the Arts. We are in our 22nd year, and we are honored and proud to have been offering music and arts education to thousands of students throughout New York City and New Jersey. And our signature programs are after school enrichment type classes. And we have started years ago just with piano and have recently expanded to offering all other instruments, including voice, musical theater, and also acting. We provide after-school type enrichment to children and adults and to organizations that serve students with learning disabilities to teach a variety of music instruments and theater. Okay, great. Events coming up. Josh, if we could have competition flyer, please, when you have a chance. We are reminding everyone about our 5th International Youth Competition. It is an easy online application with a form and a YouTube link. We have 2 categories, classical, and now a new category is added for jazz and pop. Ages 4 and through 21, all students are welcome to demonstrate their talents, and all instruments are welcome, including voice and small ensembles. Deadline to apply is January 15. Now, those who pass the initial evaluation will be invited to perform live at Tenry Institute in Manhattan on February 12th, or on Zoom Live on February 19th or 20th. And then winners concert live in person will be at Symphony Space Thalia Theater in New York City on March 12th, and live on Zoom dates will be announced a little bit later. We have also started winter spring enrollment that is open to all private students and also to school group class registrations that we are actively reaching out and connecting with new programs at this time to provide our services to multiple school communities that don't have access to music and arts education. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, TikTok, and other social media platform, comment and post any questions, and subscribe to our 2 e-newsletters that you can find on our website at anselmoacademy.org. You can go to homepage and scroll down all the way to the right-hand side, bottom right, you'll see 2 subscription available. One is Academy newsletter, and second is called On Stage. This way you can stay updated with all our events and happenings. We hope you enjoy our program today. Wonderful. Our first featured guest is Gila Goldstein, and would like to start with featuring her Chopin video, which is Prelude Opus 45 in C# minor. Take a look. Beautiful performance, absolutely stunning. Okay, can we please have Gila's picture on the screen as I go through her bio and her accolades, please? Beautiful. Gila Goldstein earned her music degrees in piano from the Manhattan School of Music, where she studied with Professor Nina Svetlanova, and the Tel Aviv University of School of Music, where her teacher was Professor Victor Derivianto. But before that, her first teacher in Israel was Hadassah Ben Chaim. And Ms. Svetlanova and Professor Derivianto, both teachers were disciples of the legendary pianist and pedagogue Henrik Niehaus. Today, Gila Goldstein is known as a versatile musician and has captivated audiences around the world with her unique artistry and soulful interpretation. Ms. Goldstein has performed as solo artist and collaborative pianist throughout the United States, Canada, Mexico, China, Korea, the Philippines, Europe, and Israel. She performed with multiple orchestras. I'm just going to name a few, such as Berliner Symphoniker, Israel Symphony Orchestra, Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra, the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra, and many others. She performed also at Lincoln Center and Merkin Hall in New York City, Progetto Marta Argerich in Lugano, Beijing Concert Hall of China, and many other well-known venues. She is a board member of the American List Society and the founder president of its New York chapter since 1992. She has been a frequent guest performer at the American List Society on annual festivals around the United States and Canada. She also performed at festivals such as High Peaks, Amalfi Coast, Loyola, Yellow Barn, Sonos Summit, Colburn, Opus Fest, and many others. Gila Goldstein has been a sought-after pedagogue for nearly 2 decades and has given numerous master classes in the US, China, Korea, the Philippines, Israel, and Italy. She is currently a member of the piano faculty at the Longy School of Music in Boston and at Brown University in Providence. Previous teaching positions included Boston University, BU Tanglewood Institute, and New York University. And we are ready to play our next video clip, which is Liszt Les Cloches de Genève. I hope I said that right. It means bells of Geneva. Take a listen. Beautiful. Gila, welcome to our broadcast, and we're going to proceed with dialogue, just some questions and answers from you, as I'm sure your perspective and your wisdom is very much sought after by many, not only professional teachers, but also young students that, watch our program. So question number one, what do you feel your role is as a mentor and teacher to your students?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Vera, and for inviting us. And I'm very, very glad to be here and share
Pleasure.
this program with you and the listeners. My role as a teacher, I believe that first of all, I wish to inspire my students and keep motivating them to continue doing what they love the most and do it to the best of their ability, perhaps even better than they ever imagined that they could play, and achieve high level of music making. Now, as a musician, the most important thing for me, it has always been that way, is the artistic aspect in an interpretation of a musical work. And the same thing in my teaching, that my goal is to help my students to achieve artistic interpretation. And it's a process of helping them to discover their own artistry. And in order to do all of that, of course, I have to provide them with the proper tools, with technical solutions and musical ideas. I have to help them understand what they play, understand the musical score, and bring it to life with ease of motion and with imagination of sound. And by doing that, I believe that I also guide them towards opening up emotionally and express themselves freely, which is really the goal, is to communicate the emotional content of a piece and develop their own artistic voice.
Beautiful. Next question. How did this evolve through your career? You've been teaching for a long time. Have you noticed any transition from you being maybe 20 years younger to being now? What is the experience of mentoring students?
Well, first of all, it's I think it's my own involvement as a musician, as an artist, because I think we never stop growing. So of course, it comes with experience. There is a natural evolvement as the years go by. But I also think that times have changed a lot, and especially in recent years. And perhaps in the past, I had in mind only the idea of teaching for the purpose, of course, of preparing students for a music career, which is still an ultimate goal in terms of the highest quality of playing, and that doesn't matter what they will do. But time have changed, and I think I'm thinking more in terms of future, long term, not just the time that they study with me for the degree. It's actually a short-term scenario. We have to remember that. So in my teaching now, I think about life in general, because we don't know what's in store. And some students definitely would like to pursue career as musicians, but they don't know what is going to happen in 20 years from now. The same way with students who perhaps they're not going to pursue career as musicians as of now, but they may return to it later on. I mean, so many things can happen. So I really want to foster that passion in them, that they keep it for the rest of their life, no matter what they choose to do and what happened later. That they can retain that. I mean, they make a good use of this information. They retain the information, and they can always sit at the piano at any time in the future, and able to learn a piece, work on a piece, and accomplish it on their own. So I want to turn them into creative artists and I would say independent interpreters. They will not necessarily take lessons for the rest of their life. Of course, they can always play for teachers or for people, but I'm just thinking really in general, the idea that they can do it on their own, they have enough tools to do that.
Wonderful.
Mm.
Next question. If you could invite anyone to dinner, who would that be and why?
That's an interesting question. It's probably I probably have some. I have few names, but I think you want to know only one. You wish to know only
No,
one name. Well, the first person that comes to mind is Glenn Gould. Hopefully, if he would be alive.
Same with me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I always admired Glenn Gould since I was a child. I think he is a fascinating person, an original mind, original thinker. I've read his biography. I watched, I think by now, every single interview with him. He was so knowledgeable. I would just like to sit with him and ask him questions about, even very specific questions about certain pieces, certain spots in certain pieces. What would he think? What would be his ideas? Just a fascinating person.
Absolutely agreed. Wonderful. And last question, if not piano, what else could have been your career, right? So share and other passions and interests you have or have had that could have been, of course, it would have been a huge loss if you didn't become a pianist. But if take us back, what were when you were a young person, did you think about anything else other than piano?
Actually, the answer is exactly the opposite. If you take me back, until probably not too long ago, if you ask me this question, I don't think I could answer this question because there was never a question in my mind that I need to be in music, that I'm a musician, I'm a pianist. So when I was a child, nothing else came to mind. Really, that's the truth. But actually, maybe more recently, I don't know if it's in the last decade or less than that. Some things I can say I could probably be an art curator in a museum. I think it's a wonderful profession and I love art so much. And also photography. I like to take photos. Photography is something that would be a wonderful thing to do, or anything that has to do with photography. It could be photo editor or something like that. But that wasn't really I liked art also when I was a child, but these thoughts were not there when I was young. Not at all. It was just really music. So this is a more newer thing.
Oh, thank you so much for your answers.
Sure.
Very inspiring and wonderful to speak with you. We're going to proceed with a picture gallery for Gila, and you, as we go through it, you can tell us where you were and etc. for each picture.
Mm. Yeah, okay. This is when I performed with the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra, the piano concerto of Paul Ben Chaim, which is a specialty of mine. He was the leading composer of Israel, and this was done 24 years after this concerto was not played. And the conductor is Mendy Rodan. Yeah, the late Mendy Rodan was legendary conductor in my country. This is Beijing Concert Hall. Yeah, in 2011, which was the bicentennial of Liszt. I was invited to play a recital there. This is in Berlin, more recently, a Berliner Symphoniker under conductor Lior Shambadal. It's actually the same concerto. In this case, it's the German premiere of the same concerto. This is the Liszt Museum in Budapest. It was a wonderful experience. Also happened to be in the same anniversary year in 2011. You can see the statue at the background.
Mhm.
This is in Lugano. That was an incredible event. That's at the festival of Martha Argerich. That it used to be in Lugano. She had that festival for 14 years, and I was very lucky to get to know her some years ago and to be invited. So it was a wonderful experience. This is at NYU in New York at the Lower Theater, downtown New York. I mean, I was actually a faculty member at NYU for a few years. So that's my recital there. This is very from this past summer in Italy, the Amalfi Coast Festival in Maiori, one of the most beautiful places in the world. So this is playing a recital there at the church. This is, I believe, Seoul National University. Yes, in Korea. A few years ago, I had a wonderful tour there in Korea, and I have a lot of a large group of former students in Korea, and it was and some friends, and it was a beautiful visit. This is in Shanghai. Actually, my last trip to China, just before pandemic. This is in October 2019 at the Shanghai Normal University. And this is at my alma mater in Tel Aviv, where I'm actually going to perform there next month again in a duo piano recital at that exactly same hall. And this is where I studied my undergraduate studies. And, it used to be called Rubin Academy. Now it's the Buchman Mehta Academy of Music at Tel Aviv University.
Wonderful. We realized that we wanted to showcase pictures of your teachers, and Josh is going to look for those pictures and let me know when we can talk briefly about them. Two important
Okay.
figures in Gila's upbringing, musical upbringing. Okay, we're moving on. Thank you so much, Gila, for joining us, and it was wonderful to meet you. And you know what? When you're in New York, I would love to invite you to dinner.
We will.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. We are moving on with our agenda. Gila students, Infeng Lee and Ben Backman. We're going to start with Infeng, and can we please have his picture on the screen as I go through his biography, please? Wonderful. Pianist Infeng Lee, a native of Hong Kong, began playing the piano at the age of 3 and is currently a scholarship recipient at Longy School of Music in Boston, pursuing his Master of Music degree in piano performance under the instruction of Professor Gila Goldstein. In 2021, he graduated with Bachelor of Arts degree from the State University of New York in Stony Brook, where his teacher was Dr. Pablo Lavandera. Prior to his studies at Stony Brook, Infeng Lee studied for 2 years at Hong Kong Baptist University. He was prize winner at the 2020 concerto competition at SUNY Stony Brook, performing Shostakovich Piano Concerto No. 2. He played several concerts and participated in master classes while a student at Hong Kong Baptist University, SUNY Stony Brook, and Longy School of Music. In May 2022, he played the Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2 for his first year of Master of Music final exam. At Longy, he was also granted an assistantship as a collaborative pianist. He's a prize winner of other competition and awards. And I also wanted to mention, which I found interesting, he taught piano to primary school students in the social center in Hong Kong. And 3 of his young students were prize winners at the Hong Kong School Music Festival. How wonderful. Okay, we are going to next play a link that we have of Yingfang performance of Haydn Sonata in E flat major, first movement. Take a look. Wonderful. We found pictures of Gila's 2 piano professors, and we'd like to show them on the screen. Josh, whenever you're ready, Nina Svitlanova and Professor Derivianko, well-known figure in, well, this is Henry Neuhaus.
This is Neuhaus, yeah.
Yes.
Their teacher.
Who is the father of all pianists from in the Russian school, I would say, right?
One of them, yeah.
And so, so Nina Svitlanova is also a prominent pedagogue with a history of, you know, raising many concert artists. And she was Gila's teacher at Manhattan School of Music. And this is Professor Derivianko. Where is he now?
In Italy.
In Italy.
In Italy. He retired in Italy, in Parma. So this is, I visited him and his wife 10 years ago, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Wonderful.
haven't seen him in a long time.
And he was your teacher in Tel Aviv.
He was a professor at Tel Aviv University. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Josh, for finding this. Okay, we're putting Yingfang on hold, and we're going to introduce Ben Bachman, who is also a student of Gila. Ben, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, in English you say Bachmann. In German you say Bachmann.
Bachman, okay, almost like Bach.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, can we please have Ben's picture on the screen? Wonderful. Pianist Ben Bachman, who was born in Switzerland and grew up in London, is a student at Brown University, concentrating in philosophy and computer science. So he's not he's not pursuing professional career as a pianist, which is very interesting. And I'll mention that shortly when we do a dialogue. He's also a student at the highly selective Brown University Department of Music, which is applied music program, studying piano with Professor Gila Goldstein. Ben's first piano instructor at Brown was the late Arlene Cole. In summer 2022, he attended festivals in Italy, such as Amalfi Coast, Gila mentioned, a Music Fest Perugia, and Colorado Rocky Ridge Festival, to the later of which he was awarded a merit scholarship. He has recently also played in master classes for well-known pedagogues such as Joyce Yang, Ilana Vered, Jerome Lowenthal, among many others. He previously attended Eton College in the UK, to which he won a music scholarship at age 13. For his 5 years as a student there, he studied with Gareth Owen and performed in venues such as St. John's Bean Square. He also played as a violinist and violist in the symphony and chamber orchestra, and he is an experienced musician in chamber music. And from age 11 to 18, he was a member of the Pro Coda community organization. And I lost my place for a second. In 2019, he represented the organization on a tour to Florence, Italy. He has performed several times as soloist with orchestra. In 2019, he was invited to perform Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2 with a symphony orchestra, and in 2021-22, representatively, he performed individual movements from Chopin Piano Concerto No. 1 and Beethoven Piano Concerto No. 3 with the professional orchestra in Perugia. Great. We're going to feature Ben's video that we have, which is Beethoven Piano Concerto No. 3. Take a look. thank you so much to both of you for joining us. We're going to proceed with a dialogue, and I'm going to ask each one of you questions, and you can share your thoughts on the subject. So let's start with Infang. Please share your proudest musical accomplishment.
Yes, sure. One of my proudest musical accomplishment is that I played the Rachmaninoff Concerto with my teacher, Professor Goldstein, in the recital last year. Because it's one of my favorite pieces among my repertoires. I think that this piece is challenging and I did it. And another musical accomplishment is that I got the third prize in the concerto competition when I was studying in Stony Brook University. Lots of students were participating in the competition, and I'm so proud of these accomplishments because they are the milestones for me and for my further studies. That I'm more willing to play difficult pieces and challenge myself.
Wonderful, thank you. Ben.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be one of the performances with orchestra. My first one, as you mentioned in my bio, was with 3 or 4 years ago in London, when I played Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto. I think what makes orchestra performances much more special is that there's so much more at stake. I always felt far more nervous before performance with orchestra than before a solo performance, because obviously if you mess up, you mess up the whole the whole thing. And also it's a bigger sound and bigger piece, so it's more exhilarating, and the feeling after performing with orchestra is heightened compared to that of an ordinary solo performance. So I'd say probably the first one. It's got to be the first one, the Rachmaninoff Concerto.
Wonderful, thanks so much for sharing. Next question. Do you have favorite performers? Who are they, and what do you like most about them? Infang.
One of my favorite performer is Yuja Wang, because of her virtuosity, and she has special charisma, especially when she is performing on stage. She has wonderful skills and techniques that she can play anything with ease. I have been to her concerts and I feel like she is a superhuman. And also I love Rachmaninoff very much, as he is one of the best pianists in the history. He can compose great music and play the music.
Wonderful, Ben.
So probably the first one that comes to mind is Michelangelo. I think he takes very few liberties with tempo, for example, and in doing so gets to the core of the music, and he's got a calm power about him. He's extremely composed, doesn't flourish. No, yeah, little of the kind of standard I don't know, flashiness, if that it's used that word, which I think is very powerful in a more subtle way. So I really like him a lot. And then also I say Ashkenazy and Radulopu for different reasons. Radulopu, I like the German composers a lot. So and he plays a lot of those, and he's very lyrical. And Ashkenazy, he's very powerful. He reminds me almost like of a mad genius or something, with his hairstyles and everything. So those are the three I'd say.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Okay, next question. With our lives becoming more busy and chaotic than ever, how do you slow down and find the motivation to practice and play music? Let's start with Ben.
Yes, so I think partly because our lives are getting much busier and more chaotic, it's important to find time to be more reflective and mindful. And I think music is one of the things that enables you, at least for me, it enables me to do that. Maybe secondly, I think it's very important to maybe reconnect with, the past, the kind of classical, the arts of the last few centuries, which maybe with a lot of people are at risk of kind of dying out a little. I think that's very important, especially today in a very busy world. How do I find the time to do that? I think a lot of it, you just have to dedicate yourself to doing it. It's not, it can seem difficult if you have a lot of stuff to do every day, but if you set aside an hour or so every day, even that, obviously I practice more than an hour a day, but you can get a lot done in a short amount of time if you concentrate on it and are clear on what you want to accomplish in that time.
And say briefly, since you are pursuing philosophy and computer science as your major, especially this question is, how do you manage it all? Say a few words about that.
Yes. It's tricky. I think developing habits is actually very important. It sounds kind of trivial, but I think it's a very important piece of practical, a practical thing that I've learned that is very useful, because if you do something, if you have a routine, then, and you do the same thing as kind of at the same time each day, you don't have to constantly think, oh, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? So, if I set aside, okay, every late afternoon, that's typically when I practice piano for a couple hours. I concentrate on that and get as much done as possible in those 2 hours. And then, in other times I can focus on something else. So a lot of it is kind of being able to mentally compartmentalize what you're doing and when and for what purpose.
Amazing, really great. Inpeng, same question. Shall I
Yes.
repeat it?
No. Yeah. So one of the reasons for my motivation in spite of being busy is that my teacher always allows me to choose some of my repertoire, and we discuss together. I'm always full of energy to learn the music that I love, and I feel like I must play those pieces and they are good for my development. And when I'm too busy and many things are going on in a period, like for now is the end of the semester, that there are many deadlines coming, I would set a goal or a target to practice. For example, like what Ben just said, I would shorten the practicing hour, but just focus on some important passages. And also I will make a schedule of practicing because it's important to make good use of time.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing. And the last question, what career choices inspire you the most? Ben.
Okay, so I think I could approach that question from a number of angles. Obviously, this is a music academy, so certainly the opportunity to perform, excites me a lot. I look forward to performances a lot, which honestly I didn't used to when I was younger. I used to get very bad stage fright, and I've started to, well, I still get very nervous, but I've started to be able to use that to my advantage rather than to my detriment. So that excites me a lot, especially when it's with an orchestra. It's a very, as I said, an exhilarating feeling doing that. So that does excite me a lot. On the other hand, yes, I am studying philosophy and computer science, and I think both of those things are very relevant today. I think that one of the things that is very important is for a unifying philosophy needs to develop, partly because religions are maybe becoming less followed by a lot of people, and that used to be a unifying philosophy, and that's less true now. So I think there needs to be something that everyone can be excited about, and so any opportunity to help provide that philosophy is exciting to me. And lastly, one of the things that characterizes the world today is technology, which is very advanced, and a lot of many parts of it scare me, but many parts of it excite me a lot. And things like we can make robots that fly, we can even go to space, all these things, we can make AI systems. These things are very exciting too. So to sum up, so I've got the technology, the philosophy, and the music, of course.
Wonderful. So you're going to be doing it all then?
I'm not sure what exactly I'll be doing, but hopefully I'll find a way to synthesize the three.
Amazing plan. Infang.
Yes, being a professor and a piano teacher in a university or a conservatory inspires me the most. It's because I met many nice professors since I study music. I love how they are working based on their interest, which are performing and teaching. I want to be a music professor because I can nurture the next generation, and at the same time, I can make progress through performing with other musicians.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, guys, for the dialogue section and for your great answers. We're going to proceed now with Infang picture gallery at this time. And as we go through it, you're going to speak and tell us who you're with, etc.
Is the first day when I came to the Longy School of Music. I think it's very beautiful, so I took this picture. Is the graduation ceremony in the Stony Brook University, and this building is the Stoller Center of the Arts. Yeah. Is in the Longy School of Music after my performance with Professor Dudas and my friend Erica in the musical and opera concert. Yeah, is with my Professor Goldstein after our performance of the Rachmaninoff Concerto. Yeah, it's also the musical and opera concerts. These are my friends who are also the collaborative graduate fellows in Longy School. Yes, it's the performance of the Rachmaninoff Concerto with my teacher. Is in the Stony Brook University that we performed the Tchaikovsky Piano Trio.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next in the program is Infang's next video clip, which is Margaret Bond's Troubled Waters. Take a look. Thank you so much, Infang. So great to meet you. Thank you for participating.
Nice to meet you.
Next, next we're gonna go to Ben's picture gallery.
This was at a performance in St. John Smith Square in London, where I played Rachmaninoff's Etude Tableau in E flat minor. Same thing. Yeah, it was the reason why I'm dressed like that is because it was a school uniform. Eton College has a famously extravagant uniform with tail suit and bow tie and everything. This is a rehearsal with Aylesbury Symphony Orchestra where we're rehearsing Rachmaninoff's second concerto. Lots of Rachmaninoff. This here I'm playing Rachmaninoff's cello sonata at Eton. I think it was actually at a concert that the cellist and I organized together, I think. Yeah. Here, oh, yes, another performance of Rachmaninoff's Etude Tableau in E flat minor. This one is at the Windsor Festival in London as well. This is in the Amalfi Coast in Italy this summer, actually, and I'm having a masterclass with Ian Jones on Beethoven's Les Adieux Sonata. A masterclass with Joyce Yang on Schubert's Impromptu Opus 19 number 1. That was, I think, in February, March, April this year, something like that. Yeah, this is Gila, myself, and my girlfriend in the Amalfi Coast this summer as well.
Beautiful. Next on the program is Ben's performance of Brahms Intermezzo Opus 117. Take a listen. Thanks so much, Ben and Infang, for participating. And we're going to close our program today with Gila's performance of Piazzolla Oblivion. Take a look. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Gila, Inpong, and Ben for participating. It was really lovely. And besides that, I think so educational and inspiring to so many people. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with us today. And okay, we are done and wishing all of you and everyone who is watching a happy holiday season. So long.
Thank you very much. Happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.